Okay, so get this. We're going deep on Sean Diddy Combs,
Right.
but not the Diddy you see in the headlines,
Right.
This is going to be a little darker, a little more unsettling, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely.
We're talking about allegations, about this whole other side to him and his empire, a side that maybe we don't want to see.
Absolutely.
And it all kind of came to light, I guess, with that FBI raid on his Miami mansion back in 2024.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah. So there's this True Crime Chronicles podcast episode, and it really got to me. So that's where we're going to start this deep dive today.
Okay, sounds good.
And, I got to say, going through all this, it just makes you think, what do we really know about the price of fame and power?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? And in this case, with these allegations, it seems like the price was pretty steep.
Yeah. So let's talk about those freak-off parties.
Yeah.
These things sound insane, like something straight out of a movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely not your average party.
So apparently phones were totally banned, like confiscated at the door. Guests were basically surrounded by luxury, but it was almost like a gilded cage.
Right. Yeah, one person even described it in the podcast as a cage made of gold, which I thought was really powerful.
Right, totally. I mean, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
For sure.
Like how easily we can be seduced by all the glitz and glamour and lose sight of what's really important.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that whole idea of the gilded cage, it's about isolation, using luxury as a tool of manipulation.
Right, and the podcast goes into Diddy's security team, too, and how they were almost like enforcers, always watching.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy. Imagine being at one of these parties knowing that every move you make is being monitored.
Yeah, talk about a way to stifle dissent,
Yeah.
right? Like, who's going to speak out when you've got these guys watching your every move?
Exactly. It creates this whole culture of obedience and silence.
It's actually kind of chilling when you think about it. And what I found really interesting was that some of those security guys actually spoke out for the podcast.
Right. Anonymously, of course.
Yeah. But still, that takes guts. I mean, it really speaks to how heavy all of this stuff was.
It definitely does. It shows that even in a system of control, like that there are always cracks. People find the courage to resist even when it's incredibly risky.
Yeah, totally. And it wasn't just the security guys either. The podcast talked to former associates, industry execs, people who were really close to Diddy, and they all described this pattern of manipulation.
Yeah, they talked about how loyalty was everything and there was a lot of pressure to stay in line.
Right. It sounds like Diddy had this whole network of influence that extended way beyond the music industry.
Right. It went into politics, finance, even Hollywood. It was this massive web of relationships, all designed to protect him and silence anyone who might cause trouble.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, if all these allegations are true, what does this say about the nature of power itself?
Yeah, that's a big question. I think it shows how easily power can be used to control people, not just through physical force, but through these more subtle forms of manipulation.
Right. And it's even more effective when you're dealing with wealth and fame because it becomes so seductive.
Absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in that world and lose sight of your own values.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder how many other gilded cages are out there, right? Hidden behind all the success and glamour.
It's a scary thought.
It really is. And, at the end of the day, this whole story really highlights the importance of speaking truth to power.
Totally. Even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous.
Because it shows that even the most powerful people can be held accountable.
Right, and it reminds us that we all have a responsibility to challenge injustice wherever we see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you think, if you were in the shoes of those people who spoke out, would you have the courage to do the same?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
It really is.
But it's one that we all need to ask ourselves.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because at the end of the day, silence only protects the abusers.
That's a good point. It really makes you think.
It does.
And that's what we're all about here, right? Getting people to think critically about these complex issues.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining me today for this deep dive. It's been a heavy one, but an important one for sure.
I agree. It's been great talking with you.
Yeah, you too. All right, everyone out there, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See you later.
Bye.